Extraordinary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Let's go! Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. In the meantime, welcome. Let's go! Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Come on. Come on. Woo. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Your song. Come on. Your song. Yeah. Just because you are. Your song. Your song. Woo. Believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Come on. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Woo. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Let's go! Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? Good. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. In the meantime, welcome. Let's go! Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Come on. Come on. Woo. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
Boy, that's it. You hit the call.
Your song. Come on. Your song. Yeah. Just because you are. Your song. Your song. Woo. Believe it in your heart. Ooh. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Come on. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Woo. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in. Welcome to the Be Extraordinary Podcast.
All right, let's go. Facebook family, we're going live. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And I'm so happy to be in studio today to present a wonderful program that we have for you. This is Fire Prevention Month, as you know, and it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. State Farm is sponsoring this event, and you're wondering who you're looking at. Well, I am Joetta, your four-time Olympian, entrepreneur, businesswoman, New Jersey Hall of Famer, and health, wellness, and achievement individual who does a really great job at telling you all those things. So I just wanted to let you know that I have a purpose. I'm prepared, I'm patient, I get perturbed, and I persevere. But in what I do, I just want everyone to know that it's important to put yourself first. And I realized that by being an Olympian, that I had to put myself first. But it's not always about me, because this show has a co-host, and my co-host is Tyrone Johnson.
Hello, everyone. Tyrone Johnson, retired firefighter, health and wellness fitness coach, Joetta's co-host. And right now, these are my 5 F's for my daily routine. And it's faith, family, finance, fitness, and friends. I try to live by these principles, to keep me grounded and to keep me in that good space. So today, like Joetta said, it's not only Fire Prevention Month, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month also. So I have my little pink shirt on. Joetta made a little ensemble with pink
Yeah, it's
You know.
kind of hard to find these ribbons now.
Oh yeah,
I've been
because
looking all
I
over.
went to a couple of stores and they said they didn't ship them out because of COVID this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're not shipped out because of COVID, but we do know how important it is to
And
get
that's
your
the ribbon.
exams.
Yes,
And
that's the ribbon that we want to wear.
Yes, so we have that. So what we're going to do right now is let you know that it's always a pleasure to partner with State Farm. And at the podcast, we say the Be Extraordinary podcast and State Farm, we are perfect together. And because you are now with us, we are one big family, the Be Extraordinary podcast family and the State Farm family. We are in studio. We want to thank Bizarre Creative for allowing us to be here and use and being part of this fantastic facility. AJ does great work with multimedia designs. He does website designs, photo and video. So please reach out to AJ if you're looking for someone to do a website or to help you along with some designs. And our jingle, as we love our jingle,
Christy B.
Chrissy B Productions. She did our jingles, but she does jingles for anyone. She does beats as well. So you have her information. If you need some music or some beats or a jingle, hit up Chrissy B and she will be able to help you get that in. So check-in, Joe Time check-in. As always, if you have a check-in, you can raise your hand. And if we see your hand, we will call on you to find out about the check-in. Tyrone, do you have a check-in? Because you always have a check-in.
Joe, one thing that I always have
is a check-in.
Is I always have a check-in.
So let's hear it.
So the check-in for me was I was just so happy to be able to make it to another Wednesday with you. That's one of my check-ins.
Okay.
And I just wanted to let you know that I actually exceeded my goal.
Which one is this?
I'm 179.
Oh, here, a shameless plug. This was a check-in, not a shameless
It's a check-in. You asked for the check-in.
I did.
Aren't you asking me for a check-in?
I did, yes. So do you mind telling the audience how much you've lost with the Joe Time Fitness Challenge?
16 pounds.
16 pounds. Yay, Tyrone. Let's clap for Tyrone.
So with that being said, now I have to try to maintain it. It's not the fact that I lost it and I feel good when, my little pink shirt, but I have to maintain it.
And I know you will. Thank you for sharing, because they say sharing is caring. So we have a couple of more check-ins. Carolyn Griggs has a check-in that she's gonna share with the Joe Time Fitness family on the podcast. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Tyrone. I love your workouts that you do during the day, because I also do that. I take a break from my daily activities at work, and I take about 30 minutes, and I close my door and I get on the conference room floor and I do my workout. I do my thing. I keep it moving.
She is committed. Thank you.
I did see that you wanted to catch up with me when I was starting one.
Well, thank you for sharing.
This family. Yes.
Yes. And also recognize the name. You also won a massage because you were one of the first contestants to submit and purchase a shirt and hat. So thank you for supporting and rocking the Joe Time gear.
Fabulous.
Yes. So any more check-ins before we move on? No more check-ins? Well, we have to show you a slide. This is Fire Prevention Month, and you see this helmet back here.
It's a helmet back there? Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to just y'all see my retirement helmet with my engine 12 on it and my badge number. Joe, I didn't even notice that helmet back there.
Shameless plug. So Fire Prevention Month, he's going to show us that. And also we have his three brothers, the Johnson brothers. They're all retired now. And they're from the Newark Fire Department.
Yes, coming all the way up from Live Oak, Florida, doing a couple of years in the Newark Fire Department. My brother to the left is Otis Johnson, captain of Engine 11 after he retired. Marcus Johnson, captain of Engine 26, and he's also retired. And the special op guy in the middle. Thank you, Joe.
Also retired. Well, there you go. So we have a great video we want to share with you in light of Fire Prevention Month. And after the video, we're going to bring on our amazing guest for the show. So pay close attention to the video, because honestly, I did everything wrong in this video. So we're going to see how many of you knew what to do after you watched the video.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the video is about the
Cooking fires are the #1 cause of home fires and home injuries. But do you know what to do if grease catches fire in your kitchen? First, stay in the kitchen while cooking always. Grease in a pan will self-ignite after only a few minutes.
You have a working smoke detector in the home, your smoke detector goes off.
Your first instinct might be to grab some water. That's a bad idea. Water and grease don't mix. Watch this.
Split-second decision making when you throw water on the hot pan of oil once it's on fire. It's going to spread the fire all over the place.
For a grease fire, don't go for a fire extinguisher either. It could make things worse. The chemicals you see come out with force, and that pressure is enough to possibly splash the oil all over the kitchen, spreading the fire.
If you come in with an extinguisher and you try and put the fire out, it's already going to shoot flammable liquid all over the kitchen. It's time to get out of the house.
Don't pick up the pan.
The last thing you want to do is grab the pan and start to go with it, because with adrenaline, you can get fire all over you, you're going to drip fire all over the room. You do not want to ever do this. Most important thing for you to do at this point is too late. It will not work. If you get a lid and you try and put this fire out, chances are when the fire gets this big, you cannot put the fire out.
Fire needs fuel, oxygen, and heat to survive. Watch as our firefighter takes away the oxygen by putting the lid on the pan. A cookie sheet will also work.
If you have a cookie sheet pan, you want to slide it over the edge, then you can put the pan out. Unfortunately, as soon as you move it out of the way, it starts to fire again.
So watch again. You smother the fire with the lid, turn off the heat, and get out. Then call 911 just to be sure it's all safe. That's what we're here for. This is a safety message from Palm Beach County Fire Rescue.
Excellent video. I don't know how many of you knew that, but I would have done all of that wrong. So now I know to cover up the fire with the top, or more, get out of there. But if you can smother the fire, that's the best thing to do. So now we're at the time where we're going to have our amazing two guests. I'm going to introduce them. The first guest I'm going to introduce is Loretta Jennings. She is down in Alabama as well. She's in Moss Point, Mississippi. Moss Point, Mississippi. She's a State Farm agent. She went to Stillman College and the University of Southern Mississippi. She has a lot of awards that you can see there. And I don't like to read everything. I would like to speak to them. And when she graces this, the video with her pretty face, we will go into more details about what she has done and how long she's been an agent. The other individual who we're going to have on as well this evening is Jessica Majors. Jessica is a State Farm agent
You can't see that.
from Montgomery, Alabama.
Let me help you out.
And
Okay, Jessica grew up in South Alabama, okay, prior to attending Troy University. Okay, she began her State Farm career 2016, working as an agent, and before opening her own agency in 2018.
okay. Well, so we're going to have both of them join. Ladies, thank you, Jessica and Loretta.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah, well, thank both of you for being on. This is going to be a great segment. And our first segment is talking about your financial fitness. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just ask some questions, going to go back and forth, and then answer some questions from the audience. There'll be 3 sessions that we have. And so we just want to go right to it. At State Farm, you believe that it's never too late to begin financial planning. So Loretta, can you just talk to us a little bit about the importance of having financial planning? And more importantly, everyone knows about State Farm's auto insurance and home insurance and apartment insurance. Can you speak to the fact that there is financial planning at State Farm?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, first of all, and thank you for having us on the Joetta The Extraordinary podcast.
Yes,
You're
yes.
welcome.
We're certainly glad to be here. And I also wanted to say thank you to State Farm Insurance and Financial Services for sponsoring this podcast, and our own Arlene Lester.
Yes.
So we're just really glad to be here. The importance of financial fitness. You know, when we get right down to it, there's just a lot of misunderstandings. We think that to put off planning is all right. Well, I'm here to report to you that that's not okay. And the best example that I can give you is if we had a yardstick and the yardstick represented your working career, and you've already decided what that end is going to be, and you're halfway of that yardstick, then you've missed the opportunity of compounding your money, allowing it to grow for you. So, the best time to start, if you haven't already begun, is now, today. Do not, my encouragement to everyone that I speak to, please don't put it off. It's just, now is the time.
Yes. Jessica, do you have something you might want to add to that as far as the opportunities that people have being part of the State Farm family, financial family?
Yes, so many people know us, of course, for Jake, for the auto policies, for the home policies, but it is so much more than that. We will sit down, we will do budgeting conversations with you. I don't know how many hours I have spent just going through people's expenses, going through that income, going through their goals and saying, okay, well, you told me what's important to you. And now we know what you're bringing in and we know what's coming out. So let's use the rest of this to make sure it aligns with those goals. So of course we have the insurance products, and those are meant to help for financial risk that would be uncomfortable or impossible for you to handle. Most people, of course, loss of your home, loss of your spouse, those are going to be uncomfortable losses. But then we also have partnerships. So US Bank, most of you are familiar with US Bank. We're going to have checking products available with them, CDs, deposit products. And then my personal favorite, Rocket Mortgage, is our partner for home loans. So you can come, you can sit down with us, and we're going to have some great financial conversations because we have a ton of resources to give you, most of which are free.
Okay.
So now you're like a one-stop place, right?
Yeah, we pride ourselves in being the customer's first and best choice for providing insurance and financial services.
Me and Joetta always talk about, financial stuff and having insurance and having different policies. So for me, being State Farm, all my vehicles for the last 30 years have always been under State Farm. So,
Correct.
I started with Liberty Mutual. I started with different, agencies, and somebody just said, try State Farm. And at the time, I'm only 24, 25, and here I'm 56. So I never went back. So a lot of times it's that people just need to hear it from somebody that had that type of insurance, whatever it is, for the duration. So, and then give them, their take on it.
Right. And just so you know, just because you're in your respective states, are you able to help other people as well? And what we do also, if you could put your information in the chat, we can have our members reach out to you to contact you as well. But if you're not in Mississippi, are you able to work with them? And if not, I guess they can see someone in their local areas.
Well, certainly. I'll take that one, Jessica. For myself, I'm licensed in Mississippi as well as Alabama and as well as several other states. But, we always joke among ourselves by saying, there's a State Farm agent on every corner. So you would be able to reach one of us. And, the important thing is our models are all the same. So what can get out of one State Farm agent's office, typically you can get out of the others. And when I say that, I just need to explain that typically. Some of us are mortgage licensed. Jessica mentioned that. I'm one of those mortgage licensed persons. And some of us also are registered representatives, meaning we have the license to do investments. So, but all of us are licensed insurance professionals. Every State Farm agent has to have an insurance license. But as we pointed out, insurance was really the beginning.
Right.
That was in 1922, but the company itself has evolved into a financial giant where we handle our desire is to be the customer's first and best choice for insurance and financial services. And we've been put in a position to do that.
Good. Jessica, you were talking about budgeting and how you go over people's budgets. What else do you talk about when you're talking about financial planning, such as like setting goals and early retirement and things like that? What else do you tell them about preparing for their financial fitness, if you will?
I'm always going to start with a really simple question, and that's what's important to you. Because if I know what goal you're trying to go after, then we can adjust that conversation based on where you need it to go.
Right.
Credit is a big conversation we have with a lot of people. And I love it because some people come to me and like, I have a great score. It's a 580. And I'm like, let's have a conversation because it's a misunderstanding. And you hear people talk about and complain all the time. Schools do not teach financial basics.
Mhm.
Yes. And
But
so
a lot of
go ahead.
a lot of times parents don't either. And most of the time it's because parents don't know how to have that conversation. And so just like you're going to bring your teen driver into my office, I want you to bring that teenager in there and say like, hey, we're looking at maybe doing our first credit card. Let's go over what affects that credit score and how to plan for it.
See, I don't know about you with credit cards. I didn't have credit cards in college. I did not do that. So when I left college, my credit was pretty good. But now a lot of kids and people have a bunch of credit cards, and that affects their scores. So when they're trying to prepare for their kids in college, speaking about college, I mean, that's really tough. My daughter got a 4-year athletic and academic scholarship to the University of Florida. So we didn't have to pay anything, and his daughter got a scholarship as well. But speaking to kids, to parents who have children, what are some things that they can do to prepare themselves for their kids if they don't get a scholarship, athletically or academic? Loretta, if you want to take that.
So I want to make sure that I got the question right. If I heard it correctly, you're asking, what are some of the things that a parent can do to prepare a child that's getting ready to go to college?
Prepare them in the credit world, as far as if they don't have a credit card while they're in college, as soon as they get out college and they have their first credit card, what some of the steps that you should prepare them for, because they're going to blow it up or put as much money on and not pay the minimum and all of those things.
Right.
Yeah, well, if I could take a step back, when a child is going away to school, they get all kinds of offers from credit card companies.
Yes.
Today. And what I would want to make sure that every parent know, and the child as well, don't take the credit card if you don't have a way to pay for it.
Right.
Because what actually happens is, if you ruin your credit while you're in college, then there are certain jobs that you would not be able to get. Mm-hmm. And we know that. So we want to really prepare students for, if you don't have the money to pay for the credit card, then put that on hold. Just wait until such time as you do get the money. That is the first thing that students need to know. And after they come out, I just say maintain what I would say a limit that you can pay, because we have so much debt in this country, and we can't go any place with this debt. So I want to help people to understand, when you use that credit card, you are actually spending money. So still, if you're spending money that you have no way to pay, then eventually that catches up with you. Right. So I just want to point out the big credit picture.
Well, thank you. And before we end this segment, Jessica, I want to ask you a question about, you're talking about it's never too late to start. So you have, you can invest early and invest regular. So can you just speak to that point as we segue into our next session?
I'm going to back up just a little bit with credit. So I know it is so important to make sure you can pay down the card before you get it. Yes. Credit affects everything now. And so you really do have to make sure you're babying that score, you're keeping it great. And so most people don't understand the actual breakdown of your credit score. So I'm going to go over that real quick.
Okay.
So payment history, that's number one. Payment history stays on for about 7 years.
Yes.
So If you make a mistake, it's going to be there. You have to understand, you have to know, like, if it does happen, okay, you can't turn back time, but you can know that it is going to hurt your score a little bit. It's going to stay on for 7 years, and you can prevent those mistakes in the future. So 35%, that's a big one. Payment history. Credit
Mhm.
utilization is coming right behind that at 30%. How
Yes.
much of your limit are you using? So
Right.
especially for college students, that's when I'm like, look, when you get that card, they're going to say you have a limit of around $300. Okay, you want to stay under 30%. That's
I know.
$30 per 100, so you get $90.
Yeah.
It's easy to spend $90.
You're
Pay
right
it
about that.
off every time it hits 90.
Mhm.
Go ahead and get in that mindset, and if you're staying under that 30%, you're going to do a lot better.
Yeah.
You're going to set some foundational discipline, and also it keeps them from running up their card.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, good.
So 30%.
Yes. But thank you. Oh, you have some more points?
I have one other point that I'd like to point out. You know, I would want parents to know and prepare them, student. You know, you have to pay more for goods and services when your credit score, when your credit history is messed up. You have to pay more for goods and services. So it's the job. There are certain industries that will not take you if you have a bad credit score. But then, who wants to pay more for goods and services?
Yes.
So those are two big points that I'd want to make sure that everyone understood.
Especially when you're going to go buy a home, and if you have really good credit, you get better interest rates, and even a vehicle, even a car.
Yes.
So that's
Precisely.
good. Yes. So we're at a point now in this, we're going to move to our second segment. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions? And it's important for you to put in the chat, please, Jessica and Loretta, how people are to contact you, your phone number and your email address. And then we'll also put your slides back up as well, so they know how to contact you.
Yes.
But while we're waiting for you to do that, we're going to take a couple of questions.
We have Sheila.
So welcome to the show, Sheila. Do you have a question?
Unmute your. Let me get
You have to unmute.
Oh, there she goes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I was interested in retirement, 401k, 401b plans. Do you have any services that you do offer to people about how to, manage that headed to retirement?
Indeed, we do. We have the full gamut of retirement services, including the planning, including how I can sit down with you and tell you exactly what you'll have if you continue to do what you're doing today.
Okay.
I can tell you that, where you're going to make it according to what your wishes are. Of course, it's a conversation, and I can tell you whether or not you're going to be successful.
Okay.
I was looking at something not too long ago that talked about, took a random sample of 100 people, then only one of those persons would, at age 65, only one of those persons would be found rich. 4 of them would be independent, in other words, not having to depend on anyone. 36 would be dead, and 56, I believe it was, 56 of them would be broke and have to depend on resources from others to take care of themselves. Now, we do know that everybody wants to be successful. So it goes back to what Jessica said. Now is the time to plan, to make sure that you plan. But yeah, we do have the retirement plans, including not just the 401k, but the Roth IRA, and saving outside of tax qualified plans.
Okay, I would like to contact you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So what you have to do, please, we have these slides we're going to put up as well with the contact information. But ladies, Jessica and Loretta, please put your contact information in the chat. We're going to go to Pamela, and this question is going to be for Jessica. So do you have a quick question, Pam?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pam, I can hear you.
Hi. Well, I'm a longtime State Farmer myself since my 20s, and I'm like 55, but I didn't know they had financial planning. But my question is, I had a financial plan years ago, doing well, and had a goal, but a disability hit. So, and unfortunately thought I had disability insurance, but didn't have something filled out as working for nonprofit. So I'm not sure what you would recommend for someone who had, the golden score 800 with making a point of having the 401b, but had to use it up. How do you restart with a now on just a permanent disability income? And I was hearing about with the credit card, I make a point utilization, trying to keep it under 30 plus never being late. But with a very limited income, where to start? But I do have State Farm for everything, auto, life, the home, but would like to start rebuilding the financial plan as I'm.
Jessica can answer that question. Yeah, Jessica.
Absolutely. And Pam, you are actually a very common customer of mine. I deal with a lot of customers who are bringing home $900 a month and that's it. And that's hard to live on. And so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's easy. It's hard. It is so hard to get to a point where you have such a small amount of money and you're trying to get those big goals done. But it is possible. And I know it's possible because I've done it with several people. You have to go in with a plan and it's going to be hard. And occasionally you're going to mess up on that plan. I like to equate it to working out and being on a diet. Sometimes you want that donut and sometimes you're going to have a donut.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Well, I'm relentless.
Forgive yourself, go in with a plan, have an accountability partner. And so your State Farm agent is there to help you with that plan, that roadmap. Get a friend or a family member who's a little bit more financially savvy, who can help you stay accountable. They're that GPS. They're like, hey, here's your plan. And you told me you're doing this, and I see you doing this. Let's do a left turn.
So Pamela, where are you located?
Well, and that was my other question, because I'm currently in Florida, but when I was in New York for 20 years, where my State Farm agent, who been with him for decades, and I just so fixated with him. I mean, Dean has been my person, and I still have all my things because I still have a whole.
I'm going to stop you, Pam, because we have other people as well. Dean may be your person, but you did not know about financial planning. So
no, I didn't.
So what we're going to do is, I don't know if Jessica or Loretta work in Florida or New York, but if they do, they'll put the information in the chat. And if they don't, contact Dean and find somebody that's local in your area. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sam.
Yes, we're at the point now where we have to do our segment, the Joe Time Health Tip by Tyrone or with Tyrone. So what we're going to do is do our health tip, after which we'll come back and finish up this conversation and talk more about why it is important to be financially fit. So wow, look at that.
Okay, this health tip for the week of second week in October is going to be about the elderberry. And the elderberry is one of my favorites. I actually take it every day. And so it's Sambucus elderberry, and it's non-alcoholic, 15 calories. This is the liquid formula. So what it is I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. And okay, so what is elderberry? Historically, elderberry is highly valued as a medicinal. Is that right?
No.
Medicinal.
Medicinal.
Oh, no.
N, not an M.
Oh, I'm sorry. Medicinal. I can see that. Herb and food in many cultures. Okay. The plant grows as a small tree or shrub and produces flowers followed by berries. The fruit is dark, glossy purple, which can be harvested in the autumn, but varies by growing regions. So when I looked at it the first time, and me and Joetta said the same thing, it starts out as white, and I didn't know that. Yeah. It starts out as white, and then it turns into that purplish color, okay? So like I said, you can do 1 to 2 teaspoons of elderberry daily. I only do 1, okay? and it's used for health, wellness, and nutrition. Raw elderberries are 80% water. So a lot of times when I do things, watermelon, grapes, everything, I like the water base in it because it still hydrates me when I'm not drinking water. 18% carbohydrates and only 1% of protein and fats. Elderberries are a rich source of vitamin C, vitamin B12, and iron. So it boosts your energy levels up. It's antioxidants, vitamins, it protects your heart. It's good for your stress. It tames that inflammation, that stuff that gives us aches and pains. And it's recommended, in minor diseases, eases cold, flu symptoms, and constipation. So it's a good supplement for you. So Joetta's gonna do the bottom line for me.
Okay, well, we talked about what works for you. And if you look at that white flower on the bottom right, that is how it starts out. And then it turns into the red berries,
And
the
then
purple, blue, and blue. So the bottom line is that there are a variety of fruits and vegetables that have been known to have health benefits to our bodies. Do some research and see what works best for you. And always consult your doctors to make sure that this is something that's good for you, but it's natural. So it should
Anything
be.
that usually comes from the ground, I always say fruits and vegetables. If it's like, for instance, when we eat mushrooms, sometimes raw mushrooms are poisonous and things like that. So always consult, somebody that has been using it or knows the background of it before you start consuming it.
Well, thank you very much. Well, that's our tip for this week. So thank you very much. And now we're going to go back to our show. But we did mention that this is Breast Cancer Month, and it is important for you to realize that it just doesn't affect women. It also affects men.
Yes.
So men can also get breast cancer. So now we have the pink and blue ribbon because men get breast cancer as well.
Yes.
So just remember that even though you can't find those ribbons out there now, just be aware that you can put blue and red together. And I wear pink for my dear friends' mothers, Lily, that's Tyrone's mother, and Ruth is my friend Tracy's mother. So I wear pink for them. I think I said I wear red, but I wear pink. I wear pink for my friends' mothers that are no longer with us, and I wear red for State Farm.
Yes.
How is that? So we're coming back to Jessica and Loretta. We want to talk about something that's very dear to me and near to me because my parents have both transitioned, and I know a lot of people are always wondering how they're going to live when a spouse leaves or a family members leaves. We're going to go to Loretta and then Jessica. Loretta, can you speak to living wills and trust and things like that? Do you provide those at State Farm?
Well, no, we do not provide, we don't get into the legal aspects of providing wills and trust and setting those up. However, we do have instruments that would meet the needs of those needs for a person. And what I mean by that is if you have a trust, meaning you want to leave something to another, we have policies that would actually fund that trust. Put the money in place to make sure that your wishes are carried out after your death.
Okay, good. Jess, can you speak to the importance of having a financial emergency plan?
Yes. So even though we don't do the legal paperwork, we normally have people in our circle that we can recommend. And I will even go as far as giving out free website resources. Always recommend an attorney for legal documentation. But if the alternative is you don't have it, a free resource is better than nothing to me.
Right.
So you want to make sure you have that last will and testament. That's when you pass away, what do you want to have happen? Those are your wishes. You want to make sure you have a guardianship trust if you have kids. So who are your kids living with? That's so important to have that conversation. Your power of attorney and your durable power of attorney, who's making decisions for you, and your living will. That's your healthcare directive. So if you're on the machine and you aren't able to sustain your own life, do you want to stay on that machine or do you want them to pull the plug? That is a decision you need to make. You don't need to put that on your family. And a lot of people do. And so I want you to ask, if it's hard for you, How would you feel putting that decision on your spouse, your son, your daughter? It's not fair. It's not right. Make the plan early.
And so that's what is going on now with a lot of my coworkers that are retiring in their late 40s, early 50s, and early 60s. They're finding these things out now because some of them unfortunately have gotten really sick, and a couple of them have passed before they made a will, made a trust, or even put money in the right places. So now what I do is I go back and talk to a lot of the guys that's on the job now and just let them know what things you can do to set up. Because a lot of the new guys that come on, men and women, the first thing they say, I don't need insurance. Why would I get that much insurance? Or why would I leave something for somebody? If I die, why? They don't have kids, they don't have a family.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not that. It could be your mom. It could be something that somebody that's close to you that might have to take care of you and look out for you.
And with COVID, so many younger people are transitioning. So they thought they had forever. I had a dear friend at 53 just passed of COVID. So I think that's important to have in place. And retiring, Tyrone has been retired for 7 years. And I know some people may have been retired for longer or they're planning to retire. So Loretta, can you speak to a retirement plan? Is that something that you can do at State Farm as well?
Indeed, we can. We offer retirement planning. We offer retirement plans. So the planning would, well, what suits you? When would you like to retire? So we do all of that work on a regular basis. But I would like to go back and point one thing out about something that Tyrone said, if I could, about those people who lead with saying, I don't have anybody to leave anything to.
Okay.
Oftentimes when we offer, I'm going to be specific on life insurance.
Okay.
When we offer life insurance and say that's a product that you really ought to consider, most people just automatically leapfrog over life insurance and they consider that we are talking about death insurance.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'd like this audience to understand is when we offer life insurance, we're talking about a policy that also offers life benefits to even a greater degree than death benefits. One of you mentioned an emergency fund.
Yes.
And I simply want you to know that we have life products that would allow you to have that emergency fund within that product.
Yes.
And instead of allowing the financial institution to gain the benefits of the growth of your money, allow your money to work for you. And we are able to sit down and have that conversation so that those that we serve will see the wisdom of having what it is they need. Jessica mentioned, well, what do you want? Well, it is also our job to help you to figure out what is available so that we can make sure that we give you what you want and what you need. So we offer all of the products. Again, I say to you that it is our desire to be the customer's first and greatest choice for insurance and financial services. And I believe that those who allow us to do that will give us good ratings.
Okay.
Well, that's a great segue because I was going to ask Jessica, what are the benefits of being with you and having you as State Farm as an agent? So you want to kind of piggyback off of what Loretta was saying?
Yeah, of course. And I'll say really quick, my personal whole life policies were what made my business possible. So those living benefits allowed me to take loans that do not negatively affect my credit score. I pick how I pay them back and when I pay them back. That is an incredible benefit that you can give to a young person or an older person in your life. Now, if they do work better, if they have some time to grow, but you have to plan for them to have that time. So State Farm has a ton of awesome benefits. It is great to be a part of the State Farm family. We are celebrating 100 years. So you know
Yes.
you're with a strong company. When people come in and they're talking to me about financial products, I know everyone is getting the cheap bare bones quotes, and then they're getting our quotes. And then we'll pull up financial ratings, which when you go into a restaurant, you look at that food score. But when you
Right.
buy life insurance, sometimes you don't look at the financial scores. Why would you get a company that has a D rating if you wouldn't eat at a restaurant that has a 70 on the wall? It doesn't make sense, especially not for your life insurance.
Yes.
And we call it love insurance because you don't buy it unless you have somebody you love.
It's love insurance.
That's
Yes.
right. And just
And-
thank you two guys so much for just sharing a lot of things that people have on their mind, or because a lot of times you can go on the website, Google, whatever, and look at things, but it's not really explaining it to you. It'll say, you know, life insurance or financial this, financial that. But when you break it down to them and let them know that it's a process to go through and it works for you,
Right.
that's what people would want. Because a lot of times I actually listened to a couple of CNN things and today, and realizing that so many people left their jobs in August because of they want a better job, or they don't want to work there anymore, or whatever it was. So with the COVID pandemic last year, it's getting to the point where people are trying to reinvent themselves to be living longer, living stronger, getting in better situations. But sometimes we can become stagnant. Like a lot of times people go, oh, I'm good with that, as long as it's paying the bills. But now they realizing that it's something out there that can help them maintain a better quality of life.
And we talk about this all the time, where people will take out a second mortgage, and it's basically to go on a vacation, on a trip. So I think that you could do whatever you want to do, but you have to be smart and wise. So I see Loretta over there smiling. So I know that you have financial, State Farm is a financial tool resource institution. So could you speak to someone that's coming into your office and they say that they want to take out a second mortgage on their home, for example, and then they ask you ask why, and they give you the reason that I said. Is that difficult for you to discourage or to explain as to why that might not be wise? How would you go about handling something like that? Because people are focused on themselves and keeping up with so-and-so and trying to impress. But what they forget is about financial fitness. That's one of Tyrone's F's. That is really important. So, and being wise. I've been investing since I was about 21 years old. And I started out with an Oppenheimer mutual fund right out of college. Didn't know anything, but we had a conversation with a friend of mine, and that's how I started with my own money. My parents back in the day gave me a bunch of CDs. But we're going to go back to my question, which is, when someone comes in, how do you talk to them to get them focused on the real goal, which is not necessarily going on vacation?
Well, you know, finances itself carries along with it a hierarchy of needs. And so when someone would come in, I haven't had that to happen, but just thinking through it, if someone came in and said, well, you know, I want to take a second on my home just to go on vacation and have a good time, I'd have to stop and ask, oh, so let's talk about one, I hear what you're saying, but let's talk about how you're going to pay for that. But before we even talk about how you're going to pay for that, what I want to know is, well, what other resources do you have in place? Do you have disability insurance? Do you have life insurance? Do you have adequate limits on your car insurance so that if you hit someone,
Yes.
You won't end up having to pay for that accident because you had such low limits? So it's a hierarchy of needs. We want to start and fill that bottom piece of that triangle before we try and go to our desires and our wishes. We want to make sure that we understand. We want to coach our customers to understand, you know, at the end of the day, where will this lead you? On those statistics that I talked about, where out of 100 people, more than 50 are dead broke and have to depend on someone else. Well, along the way, there were some gaps in their understanding. I believe that if you know better, you do better. And so our job is to help people to understand, to know better so that they can make wise decisions and do better. I hope that answered.
Oh,
No,
yes,
it did very
yes.
well. Jessica, did you want to add or go or say something else in reference to the benefits of being a State Farm customer? Or this is a segment where we only have like maybe 10 minutes left and we have some questions as well.
Can really relate to. So one big thing in my area, rent is around $1,000 a month. It's a lot. My mortgage, so I went from a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, swapped to a mortgage, got a 3-bed, 2-bath, and I went from 1,000 to 700. I saved money by owning. And so when you start to look at your financial picture and how that makes sense for you, compare those mortgages. So if you look at a 30-year mortgage at a 5% rate versus a 3% rate, you're going for $150,000. Let's stay right there, $150,000, same term. The only thing you're changing is that interest rate. You go from spending $289,000 to $227,000.
Wow.
And if you swap that to a 15-year mortgage at a 3% rate, not a big payment jump, you're only spending $186,000. That is saving $103,000.
Wow.
So imagine your future self in 30 years or 15 years handing yourself $100,000. That's what you are doing by having a clear financial goal and plan that you follow and setting those foundations for the other people in your life.
Yeah.
And that was well said, because I know people who've been in a home for years, 30 years, and they still haven't paid it off. And I always say, by the grace of God, go I. So I don't look badly on anyone, but I look at their lifestyles and they're doing everything except paying off the mortgage. And it's been 25, 30, 28 years. And they bought the home for maybe at that time, $125,000, a number like that. And after all these years, as you just explained,
It's going up.
it's going up. And it's small things that you can do. If you want to, Loretta, could you just speak to that, to people who have a mortgage, some tips you can give them to help pay down that mortgage quicker?
Well, sure. To pay down your mortgage quicker, there are 2 ways to do it. You can either rush and give the financial institution more than they require to keep that loan going. You can rush and pay it off early.
Yeah.
Or you can take that extra that you're going to pay, and you have to be disciplined, and put it in an account for yourself so that your money is working for you as opposed to working for the financial institution. So, because it doesn't really matter if you have the money and it's under your control, it doesn't really matter that the financial institution does not have that money.
Yes.
You still have enough money to pay off that home at any time that you want to.
But going back to Jessica's point, when and what I've been told and what I believe is that if you're able to pay off the mortgage and get rid of that debt and save, and then you can invest that money somewhere else. So instead of taking 30 years, for example, I'm just using these numbers, you get it paid off in 15. Let's just use that. And that's being really aggressive. And then you save roughly, whatever that number is. So you can use that money to invest, and you own your own property and blah, blah, blah. So I heard what you said. What do you say to someone with that thought process?
So it's always our process to do what the person wants to do, but it's also our job to help them to understand that there are some options, and you have to make the decision on the basis of the knowledge that I provide for you, what's best for you. When you give it to the financial institution, then your money is working for that financial institution. They are getting the benefit of lending that money, and they are getting the benefit of the interest on that money. Now, if you didn't give it to them and you were disciplined, then you could certainly put that money in an account where it grows for you, and you could have the same benefits that the financial institution has.
And then take the whole 30 years to pay it off. Just using those numbers,
Yeah, you take the whole 30 years and pay it off, and it will astound you if you take a calculator and look at that as to how much how much better off you would be by having the money under your use and control. And my final point on that is simply this. If you rush and pay your home off and you happen to need some money for your own use, that equity in that house does not belong to you. You have to go to the bank and ask for a loan. You have to ask them for the equity that you have in the home. So that's why I say that there are two ways to do this. One is you can rush and pay it off, but the second is you can be disciplined and save that money in an account where it is available to you. That's a long conversation.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a thought, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
I'd
you. Jessica.
actually, if I can, I'd like to add a third option. We talked a
Sure.
little bit about life insurance. A return of premium life insurance policy is one of my favorites to partner with a mortgage because I could do a 20-year return of premium, which means at the end of that 20 years, you're going to get all your money back. So I'm going to run that amortization table and I'm going to look and see at what point in that 20-year your mortgage balance is going to be. We're going to set you up with a life insurance policy that has a payout of that amount or more in 20 years. That way you have the life insurance. So if you do pass away, your family stays in the home. You have the mortgage, keeping that payment reasonable, and you're putting some extra money into that policy, and then you're going to pay off your mortgage 10 years before your plan if it was a 30-year mortgage. Awesome option. The best option is going to be based on your individual situation.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so meet with your State Farm agent, sit down, go in with your income, your expenses, your plan, what your goals are, and let them help you.
I don't want to say, you have a question, comment?
No, I just want to say, like now, I just want the younger people that's out there to realize to establish credit, to build credit, you have to be willing to do that. You just can't every check buy something, every check go on a trip, every check, put money away. You know,
Yes.
my dad did a good job with raising us. And I used to always wonder, like Joetta said, what's a CD? I didn't know what CDs was. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know why he always carried a box with coins and all these things and this, because that was the money he was spending on the trip. He wasn't using the credit card. So a lot of times I've learned to do those things. The right now money is going to be spent. The money that's down the line is for something else. So you got to have two different pots.
And I think to Tyrone's point, Jessica's looked to be a little bit younger than myself and Tyrone here, and my grandmother, going back, my grandmother is 90, would be 99, they believed in CDs, they believed in all these things, and it wasn't the importance of a CD particularly, but they were saving, they were investing, they were making sure that my mother, her daughter, was able to purchase a home. So that was passed on in my family. So to see the coin box that they had, we may laugh at that or think it was old school, but it worked. So what we have to do is get current and bring it into 2021, but do some of those old school things, but make it current.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no better time to prepare for your financial future so that you are physically fit when you get to the end of your working career. If you don't prepare, then you'll have to be one of those numbers that I counted at the end where you have to depend on others.
Right.
Financially fit means I can continue the same lifestyle that I enjoy post-retirement, that I enjoyed during my working years. And it's important. And it won't just happen. It is a choice.
Yes.
Wow, that was really good. Jessica, do you want to have a closing remark as well?
I will say, so I am a younger agent. I opened my agency when I was 21. And everything I learned, it didn't come from those home foundations. It came from the agent that I worked for who took the time to mentor me and explain all of this to me. And I learned it. Just because you know it does not mean you're going to be great at it when you get started. It's like running. You have to practice. You have to keep working at it. And if you get out of those positive habits, you're going to mess up, and that's okay. Just know where your resources are. I know a lot of people have lovely family members and friends that they trust and they think the world of, and they don't know anything about finances, but they're listening to them. And Cheryl, I saw you post like you're tired of being like, you want them to hear it from somebody else other than mom. I sit with a lot of daughters and sons and young adults who come in and I'm like, look, here's how it is. Here's how finances work. Let's talk about what you want to achieve and what your plan is. Because I get passionate about it. I get a little bit nerdy about it. I love math.
Yes.
I'm one of
Yeah.
those a little bit crazy people who I love the numbers and I love to make them work because I've seen what they can do for you. And so especially if you have that time advantage, but even if you don't have the time advantage, yes, it's harder, but you can still do it with a good plan in place.
Yes.
But you have to have someone to help you make that plan. If
Mhm.
you didn't need them, you probably wouldn't be paying attention to this and you wouldn't be in the situation you're in.
Right.
No.
Wow. So
Because that's what we say all the time when we started to do the podcast. We think it first, then we write it down, and then we do it. So
Right.
the plan is always in our head. And then when we write it down, it was, okay, we want to do fitness, but then we want to do wellness. Then we want to do health. So
yes.
health, wellness, fitness. Okay, that's the goal. Then writing it down and figuring out, like you just said, you guys just informed a lot of the viewers and myself about different things, even though I'm retired and still investing and still living and still trying to have a good life, I still have more options. Because I told a lot of people retiring at 49, I wasn't retired for life. I was retired from fighting fires. I'm still out there trying to be helpful with my community and my daughter and everybody like that. So thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. And I will personally be reaching out to both of you guys because I have a lot of questions for a couple of my friends that have 1 or 2 more years to retire.
We have a question.
May I have one parting comment? And that is, you either plan to fail or you fail to plan.
That's a good note. Thank you very much for saying that. And we don't want you to do that. That's why it's important that you get your finances together. You may look good, you may feel good, but if you're not financially fit, that's the problem. We're talking about being good on the inside and out. So financially fitness helps you inside and out. We have a question from Cheryl Norman, a question or a comment. Cheryl, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much. You guys gave us so much information. I really appreciate it because you gave me ideas of how to finagle my financial at State Farm and talk to them more about some of our your products. So thank you so much for this information. You always learn more from different members of your team. So this is great.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Cheryl. And thank you for having State Farm for many years.
Yes, thank you.
That's good. Well, we come to a point where we are at the end, but before we say so long, I just want to say on this show, the Be Extraordinary podcast, you are extraordinary. So we want to bring extraordinary people on the show that can help you, that can inspire you and to encourage you. If we have your attention for 1 hour, we don't want to chit chat. What we want to do is leave you with information that will make you better, that will help you rise, and in this instance, that will help you be financially fit. So Jessica and Loretta, thank you for being on the show. And as you said, it's been over what? A century, Tyrone?
Yes, a century. Wow.
That State Farm has been there to help. There is some information for Loretta. So please take that information down. And she also has it in the chat. Additionally, we have the slide for Jessica. Please take down her information and it'll be on the chat. And if you missed the beginning of the show, or if you want to see it again, it will be up on YouTube tomorrow. So go to Joe Time Fitness and you'll see this segment on YouTube. It'll be Joe Time Fitness at, no, that's the email. JoeTimeFitness@gmail.com. Or if you go to YouTube and put in Joe Time Fitness, then you'll see not only this amazing podcast, but you'll see all the other ones as well. And if you have any questions about sponsorships or things like that, please feel free to contact us. If you want to be on the show, or if you have a show idea, please feel free to contact us as well. And then we have a guest next week. It will be Jason Quinn. And the topic next week is teen driving safety, protecting your teen and yourself on the road. So make sure you tune into that segment. Thank you, State Farm, for believing in what we're doing and being part of this extraordinary podcast. And thank you to my audience for being out here again. As we always say, it doesn't matter what road you take, but what you become along the road. So on this road, we hope that you end up financially fit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a
Hey,
good night.
Joetta, real quick, did we not
Oh.
have some prizes?
Oh, well, we didn't not have prizes. There was an adjustment with the prizes per Arlene, but I don't know what to say about that. But do you want to give away a prize? Do you
I will
want to-
give away, yeah, I'll give away a
Did you-
prize. So
Okay.
the first person to email me the correct percentage for how payment history affects your credit score, and I just put my email in there.
I got that.
So
Can I
what
do it?
percentage?
Do we
Yeah.
count?
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Yeah,
I'll sign
no.
off with a little jingle. I got this super cute 100 anniversary pin.
Oh, okay.
Could y'all hear the jingle?
Oh, yes, we heard that. That was cute.
Yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you.
I put it on my
Thank you.
voicemail and everything. So
Oh,
I hope
I bet
everyone
you
has a
do.
great night.
Thank you
Have a
very
great
much.
evening.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank
having
you.
You're welcome. And we see everybody next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.